Hey friends, okay, we're going to do an update. This is going to include dinner plans, the yarn of the day, updates, plans, and a rant. Okay, probably in that order. So let's start with the dinner plans. Oh, it is 7 p.m., October 23rd. That's a Wednesday. Oh my gosh, there's barely more than a week of this. I can't believe it's already gone so fast. I mean, I did kind of skip a week, but like still, it's been fast. Anyways, dinner plans. So I think I did something very similar to this last year for dinner. And that is, we got these pumpkin pasta from Babies. Yeah, no, they're playing. We're gonna have that as background noise. Pumpkin shaped pasta last year from Trader Joe's. It is made with butternut squash. It's also got some durum wheat semolina, dehydrated butternut squash, and paprika for color. Hang on. You guys. Munchkins. Munchkin. No, they're not listening to me. They're not listening. It's fine. It's all fine. Anyways, last year when I boiled these, they fell apart. They no longer retained their pumpkin shape. They were tiny slivers of pasta. And I was like, I don't know about this for spaghetti. But I was then like, how about a baked spaghetti with these? And it was honestly one of the best things I've ever made or tried. My husband did not really like it. I loved it. When I ran out, I was so sad. So I specifically bought this pasta to do it again. And tonight is that night. Tonight is the night we will make this dish again. And then I will have leftovers for a long time because it was like 12 servings. Okay. Even though this pasta says it's 7, that was like, it was like 12 servings. Okay. And this is where I think I'm deviating from last year. I also got this autumnal creamy harvest pasta sauce made with pumpkin and butternut squash. And so I will be using this as well. Also from Trader Joe's. George of the jungle. He's such a grumpy boy. So I will be using this as well. The other thing is, I don't think I have cream cheese. It calls for cream cheese. I don't think I have any. I think I have mozzarella. I could be wrong about that. We'll see. We will mix whatever cheeses I can to create this dish. But so that is what I'm going to be making for dinner. My husband's probably not going to be coming home for a few more hours, so I'm not worried yet. Hang on. I'm going to open my drink because pretty soon we are going to get riled up and we have to be libated. We have to have liquid for it. Okay. Today's color is called Nodding Naga. N-A-G-A. I've never heard of a naga. If you say it the wrong way, it sounds like a bad word, so I'm not going to say that. Opening. So I was able to edit and upload yesterday's video during my lunch break because it was a pretty short one. It was shorter than I actually thought it was going to be. So I hope you enjoyed coming along with me in the library for a bit, even if it was such a day with so many poorly behaved children. I mean, at least you didn't get to experience that. Katrina, I'm just going to reply to your comment here. It would be nice if it was just confined to the students of one teacher every year for me. However, my school was being particularly evil when making the rosters for this year. And by that, I mean they took 2 of the strongest teachers in 1st grade and in 6th grade, and they gave them all of the terrible children in that grade. This is normally, both of these are normally pretty strict, well-enforced classes, and they've just ended up with some monsters. I mean, it's really bad. The 6th grade teacher said to the class while they were in library yesterday, in my 14 years of teaching 6th grade, I've never had to do this, but I'm on the verge of assigning seats in the library. And to be honest, she should just do it. I've told her I should just put the numbers on the tables and then she can just number them off and be like, you're there. You're number 3 now. You're number, yeah, like that. Because they are just rude. They ignore her. They don't care about consequences, in part because teachers are able to enforce very few consequences thanks to all of the rules that our government in California has enacted. They're not allowed to take away they're not allowed to take away recess anymore. Suspension, basically impossible. They're put on behavior charts where if you're bad, you can earn a reward. But if you're one of the good students, you never get that. You don't get the reward. So it's just, I don't like the system. And I know a lot of people like it. It's PBIS. Positive behavior, something. I don't know. Anyways, not a fan. Yeah, just not a fan. And then the 1st grade teacher that they've done this to, also she's one of my good friends. So, but I don't think I'm being biased. Last year, hers was the only behaved class. The other 2 were very naughty. So they put her with the worst student in the whole school. The whole school, a little 6-year-old. He's being observed for possibly being emotionally disturbed, which he is. So he's probably going to be sent to a special class that's in a different school. He has a one-on-one aide because he runs away all the time. He throws the Chromebooks. He rips up the teacher's paper. I think he's hit her. He's just very, very bad. Yeah, so they're in the library for like 20, maybe 30 minutes once a week. He ran away from the library yesterday at least 2, if not 3 times. Like, no, it was 3 because he ran out the one door twice and the other door once. He's just bad. He doesn't care about consequences or anything. So, whew, it's rough. It's rough. And so I wish it was just a single teacher whose class was always bad. But unfortunately, yeah, it's not the case. It tends to follow certain students. So, yeah, anyways, so that's what I'm saying with that. Okay, back to number 9. I can feel an extra in here, but let's look at the yarn first. Ooh. Oh, that's nice. When this blanket eventually gets finished, it will be so cool. And we have another progress keeper. Oh my gosh. It's like a ghost vampire. That is so cool. Or is it a devil? A ghost devil? A ghost vampire? I don't know. No, it's a ghost vampire because you can just barely see the vampire teeth there. Oh, so cool. Okay, I'm going to put this on a pair of socks that I will be working on tonight. So, that's the yarn, which means we're going to now talk about Progress. No. Did I say stash or did I say progress? Stash. Okay, this came in the mail yesterday. But I didn't show you guys because I was in a bad mood, okay? So these were on a Prime Day sale. It was a 3-pack, and I think it came out to about $5 for the 3-pack. So each one was about $2, less than $2. So maybe it was up to $2, but either way, great deal. It's normally $12 for the okay, so I think it must have been $5.50 because it's normally $12 for the pack. It was half off for Prime Day, and I had an additional 10% off coupon. So that would make it about $5.50, maybe $5.40. Right? Half off brings it to $6. 10% of that is 60 cents off, which makes it $5.40. So great deal on these. And I'm going to see if I have a few more on the way. And I'm going to see if this will work up for a market bag. I think I won't even need all 3. Maybe. I don't know. But either way, someone in my family is probably going to receive that for Christmas. Because I'm planning on putting all my Christmas presents in market bags for Christmas this year. So that is all of the stash. I know technically that it does count as stash enhancement, so I'm not really counting it because I'm still basically not bought any of the expensive fancy yarns. I've not bought more velvet yarn, so I'm still, even though I've not bought more velvet yarn, even though Joann's has some of the colors I don't have and have been out of stock for a while. Whew, that temptation is hard to resist, I have to tell you. Hopefully, it'll still be in stock in November when I will have passed my 1-month ban. Okay, so that was the only stash kind of thing I had to share. Okay, and then I was on Amazon because my Kindle is still not shipped because they've released new editions. Hey, little ones. So, turns out I messed up. So I bought the wireless charger stand, but it turns out that only works with the Paperwhite signature. And I was looking at the order and it looks like we didn't buy the Paperwhite signature. We just bought the Paperwhite. And so now this wireless charger is not going to work, which is very frustrating and annoying. So I've been thinking about talking to my husband about just canceling the order for that Kindle and then upgrading to the current just released Kindle signature, because also this is now not even the most current Kindle, which is part of what's so frustrating. Is like I bought it and literally the next week they updated the Kindles. So that is also very annoying. However, the thing that holds me back for sure deciding to do that is my super cute, awesome case is 6.8 inches. George, my bud. No, you're going to come cuddle with mommy now. No. The new Kindle is 7 inches, so just smaller. And so, according to some of the reviews, it won't fit, which is frustrating, to say the least. And they don't have very many accessories or cases released yet because it's just brand new released. And so they don't have the super cute book-related one. So, I don't know what to do. You guys, give me your advice in the comments below what you think I should do. Because, I mean, I would say just, like, wait it out and see. But they keep changing the date on the expected delivery date. So, I mean, it was originally supposed to be here by the 18th. Then it changed to the 23rd, which would have been today. And today I looked and it's changed, again, not shipped, and it's changed to November 1st. And so we're getting close to when I can't return. They just knocked something over. No. No, George. George, look at mommy. No. So it's getting close to the window of return ending in regards to the accessories. So, like, I either can keep the charger. No. I can, no. No. I can either keep the charger and return the case and Kindle. Or I can keep the Kindle, even though it's now out of not the most recent, and return the case, but keep the charger. I don't know what to do. I'm going to talk to my husband. It is more expensive. And also, I need to know if I get the signature. My understanding is the signature comes ad-free. So then do I get a refund for the $20 we paid to make this one ad-free? Because so instead of it being $139, we paid $159, and the new one is $199. So I mean, like, it's basically only a $40 increase. So yeah, I'll talk to him. I'll talk to him when he comes home. Although, in terms of more ranting, so you remember last Vlogtober how we ran into a tree because a limb had fallen off the tree and it was laying across the road and there was absolutely no street lights, and so we didn't see it until we were in it? Well, we found out at the beginning of this fall break that we noticed they had increased our insurance. We should have noticed sooner, but because we had it on auto pay, we just didn't notice. And they had increased our insurance to $500 a month. We do have one or two non-operational vehicles on it, and then 2 other vehicles. So we had 4 vehicles total on the policy, but it still increased significantly. So my husband calls the insurance company and was like, why has our insurance increased to over $500 a month? And they were like, well, you had an accident where you were at fault. And he was like, no, we weren't at fault, because even the police report said we weren't at fault. It was impossible to see. You could not see this tree. So, my husband called them again today because they were supposed to call us the next day and talk to us, and they didn't. And it's been over a week now. So my husband called them today to figure out what was going on. And you know what they said? The case is closed. We're deemed at fault because someone has to be at fault. Someone has to be at fault? Are you kidding me? How about the property owner who wasn't taking care of their tree and a limb fell down onto the road? Or how about the county that doesn't have lights on this public access road? But so no, we're at fault. We're at fault for this tree that you could not see in the pitch black country road. I mean, it was a paved road. We're not talking a dirt road. It's a paved road that gets used a lot. And a tree limb had fallen on it. I mean, I'll try to find and insert some pictures because this just really ticks me off. And so, yeah, now we have this huge increase on our insurance. They've deemed us at fault. So now even if we go to another insurance company, we'll still have been deemed at fault for an accident that we were not at fault for at all. And, so then they were like, well, we sent you a check for $12,000 because they deemed our car totaled. So, I mean, I've been driving this totaled car for a year. Hey, no. And that's what prompted my husband's call this morning, is the tire light came on. I think I mentioned that yesterday. And he went and looked at the tire, and it's like nearly threadbare. So we were like, we need the settlement money so that we can actually get another car for me. Sorry, I'm just so frustrated. I've lost my train of thought. Betsy Ross, please don't do that. Betsy. She is such a cute little girl. She's like the smallest dog we've ever had. Betsy Ross. Betsy. Come here. Come here. Come here. Okay, she's in the whelping pool. It's where all of our dogs have had their babies, is in a little kiddie pool. And we just, they like to go in there still. So it's plastic. So she's digging at it to try to make it softer and like fluff it up. But like, that's not going to work, girlfriend. It's plastic. Anyways, so, yeah, so we got that delightful news today. We're going to have to go down to the sheriff's office or police or whoever it was that took the report of what happened, because to show that even on the police report they said we were not at fault. And so we're going to have to try to fight this. But also we didn't receive the check. So they're supposedly going to send another check. But still, it's just like, it's so frustrating. So frustrating. So, yeah, well, that's only rant number 1. Betsy Ross. Betsy. Then she lies down and pouts. Anyways, so rant number 2. Oh, geez, this is a long video. Okay, so rant number 2. As many of you know, my brother-in-law serves in the Navy. He's been in for about 12 to 13 years. He is one of the airplane mechanics. So this story goes back to a year ago. Hey, baby. Actually, let's take it back further. Let's take it back to my brother-in-law and sister moving to Washington shortly before the pandemic. I guess like a year or so before the pandemic. My brother-in-law was deployed at the start of the pandemic, and his deployment kept getting extended further and further with no end date in sight. Due to the pandemic. This was really hard on him and my sister. I think that one affected my sister the most. He's since had another deployment where they basically didn't see land. They had 2 port of calls stops where the soldiers were allowed to get off the boat, go to some vendors that were set up in the dock area, so they were not allowed to leave that area, like food vendors and stuff like that, and then get back on the boat. And then a year ago, so they've had at least 3 deployments since the pandemic, and a year ago they were supposed to go on a nice peaceful deployment, safe places, and everything like that. Then October 7th happened, and some terrorists go over the border to Israel, slaughter a bunch of people, kidnap a bunch of people, and what happens? The Enterprise, the USS Enterprise that my brother was on and was just leaving for his deployment, got relocated into that war zone area in which those Houthi idiots were attacking, and they were on constant high alert, and all kinds of bad stuff. And while on that boat, which was also extended in length of tour from what it was supposed to be, Betsy, the smaller they are, the more naughty they are. That is my theory. So his current contract with the squadron that he was in ended while he was on that boat. And they were supposed to let him go to his new squadron, which was not on the boat. Okay, so he was supposed to be sent back home and go to his squadron, but they said some nonsense about there being no one to replace him because of what he does, and they made him stay. And during that tour, in the high stress that it was, he started hearing voices, and he became very paranoid. He thought people were just very paranoid, okay? And so instead of keeping that stuff to himself, he did the right thing and talked to command about it, okay? So he was taken off boat, and eventually returned home. He had to undergo some evaluation, so it was still like a few weeks after that before he was allowed to go home. And then he was put on light duty, and he was supposed to then be put into the new squadron, right? But instead, the ship comes back. He's still on light duty with all of his the people that were on the boat with him. And that was not supposed to happen. Okay? That was not supposed to happen by procedures, by regulations. It was not supposed to happen like that. He was supposed to immediately be transferred to a new squadron. So when they came back, he started to experience the paranoia again, right? I mean, so this is summertime now. 3 weeks ago, his dad died unexpectedly of a heart attack. A week ago, someone from his so they did eventually move him to the new squadron. Then 3 weeks ago, his dad died. A week ago, someone from his old squadron that he was close with, a close friend, and died in a plane, a Navy plane. It's on the news. You can look it up. Washington State Navy plane crash. You can look it up. That was a week ago. Yesterday, my sister sends a message. They had just been informed that he was being medically separated from the Navy. So during this time of grief and processing and all these other kind of things, they took a soldier who had been loyal to them, who had worked hard, climbed the ranks, gotten accommodations, and specialized in what he did, and threw that all away. They threw away, he was working towards the 20 years so he could get the retirement. Then his plan was to go work for Boeing. There's a lot of soldiers who work on the airplanes eventually go and work for Boeing in the private sector. Boeing hires from there. And I'm hopeful that can still happen for him. But that retirement that he had been working so hard for and put up with so much crap from the Navy, they just, while he's grieving the death of his father and the death of a friend, they completely further upended his life and my sister's life by extension. And it's so cruel, honestly. Honestly, I've always been proud to be an American, and I cry during the Pledge of Allegiance, not the Pledge of Allegiance, the national anthem, every time I hear it. And I have never been so ashamed and disappointed in our armed services. It disgusts me, honestly, that they would do this. His father's not even been gone for a month. And I've not heard back much from my sister because, I mean, she's devastated. This was their whole life. They live in military housing. They were dependent on the military paycheck every month. They worked and sacrificed a ton their entire marriage for the Navy. And it's just all tossed aside. I am so pissed off. I am so pissed off. I can't even begin to explain how furious, and even just talking about this again, how furious I am that this has happened. It's just, they take our soldiers, they beat them down, chew them up, spit them out, and they wonder why recruitment numbers are so low. They wonder why no one wants to join the military. And this is how you treat your soldiers, who you already underpay. You already devalue their family life, which in turn makes them burn out. Why are divorce rates so high in the military? It's because of crap like this. Soldiers gone, families apart all the time, very little leave back to see them. It's nonsense. And I'm so angry. I'm so angry because we don't know how this is going to affect his future. Is Boeing going to care about the fact that he was medically separated from the Navy, or are they still going to be like interested in hiring him? Because he did specialize in what he did. He was one of the very few who could sign off on paperwork that needed signing off on for the planes to fly. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. And my sister, she said she feels hopeless and helpless, and she has no clue what they're going to do, where they're going to move. None of it. Because this was not in the plan. And I know that plans aren't always able to stay, and you've got to go with the flow and things like that. But this is a major deterrent. It's not like a door suddenly opened. We're also really worried about my brother-in-law because he was already struggling with mental health. Then his father died. Then his friend died. And now he doesn't have a job to go to every day to at least take his mind off and compartmentalize. I'm just so angry. I'm so angry. Oh God, sorry. I mean, she's my little sister, you know? I worry about her. I love her. I love him. He's a great guy. They didn't deserve this. And it's like, instead of supporting and helping your soldiers when they need the help, like, would it have been better that he just didn't tell them he was having mental health issues? I mean, isn't that how the bad things happen when they snap and then they shoot up a place? I'm not saying he was ever there. Please don't put that out like that. That's ever where he was at. He was never at that. But aren't they supposed to be able to be like, hey, I can't handle this. I need some help. I need to talk to a professional. And apparently my sister says that this was on the recommendation of his psychiatrist. What kind of psychiatrist thinks that turning a person's life upside down in the middle of grieving 2 deaths is a great decision? Honestly, what kind of psychiatrist is that? Who the heck is this person? Where'd they get their degree? What is that? Sorry, no, now I'm entering the very angry mode and I've got to step back again. It just makes me a little bit less proud to be an American. It makes me so angry at the robot commanders that we thought that after he'd been back for several months and we were worried when he first had to come back that they would medically separate from him. Okay, we were worried about that then. But months seemed to go by and they seemed to be supporting him. And my sister said, yeah, they want to work with him. They want him to come back. They want him to, to full duty. And she said that to me just like a couple weeks ago. And then his father dies, his friend dies, and they decide, now it's over. Such BS. According to what I've read online, they should have 6 months to be able to find a new place and move. So they should still be housed for 6 months. Additionally, there should be a severance that should equal 2 months times years in service times base pay. However, unfortunately, it's the average base pay for the last 3 years, and my brother-in-law had recently been promoted and was recently earning, okay, sorry, one more rant regarding all of this. He was recently promoted and got a raise. They did not change his tax withholding amount to reflect the raise. And so they decided, without consulting my sister or her husband, that the amount that should have been withheld, the whole amount from all their screw up, they were going to deduct that from a single paycheck instead of spacing it out over 5 months till the end of the year. I understand it needs to be done by the end of the year for tax purposes. But instead of spacing it out over 5 paychecks, they took it all out of one single paycheck, and they had $100 deposited into their bank account for that month. Like, what? How do you expect people to live on that? Have you seen the cost of groceries? No one's doing much better than paycheck to paycheck at this point, and certainly not on a Navy military salary. So apparently, my sister said this happened to 3 other families at the same time on their base or squad or whatever it was. I mean, jeez. So yeah. Okay, I'm going to stop ranting now because we're on to 40 minutes. And I had wanted to do some crafting tonight. So that brings us to the plans and maybe progress a little bit. So during lunch, when I edited this video, I did another set of 10 rounds on my nephew's socks. So we are at 30 rows now and many more to go. I would have gotten a bit more done, but in 2 separate places, I had dropped stitches and had to like catch them, and they had dropped quite far. So that was frustrating, in part because I didn't have like a crochet hook, which makes it easier to pick up the stitches through the rows. As it had dropped down quite far in both places. And so, yeah, that sucked, but I got them picked up and they should be fine now. So I'm leaving this in my purse as my kind of like lunchtime project until I get to the heel. So that's all the progress I have. Now tonight, if at all possible, I would like to do my brother-in-law's heel, do a repeat on my sister's sock, and cast on either mine or my husband's sock. I also want to start the Nutcracker, and I want to start the Nutcracker because I want to, okay? There's no other reason than that. I want to start it. So I'm going to. That's going to be the first thing I do. So yeah, that's my plans. I'll try to come back and update you as I finish bits and pieces of the plan. So I'm sorry for so much ranting and for such a long rant. If you can imagine how fired up I was last night, that's why I didn't do the rant last night. I was so angry that I was exhausted and had to go to bed. I didn't even eat dinner. Which sucks because I also didn't eat lunch yesterday. So, yeah. Anyway, I'll chat with you guys in a bit. Talk to you later. Bye. Sorry, one more thing. So, this is book related. I started listening to The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst, maybe. And so that's what I'm going to listen to while working on things tonight, because I was in my, my Libby library account and it is due in 1 day. And so I was just going to put myself on the hold list until I saw that I would be number 166 on that list. And I was like, I'm going to try to read it all in 1 day. So I'm a couple to 2-3 hours in. And so I'm going to be continuing listening to that. So far, it's really cute. I think the genre I read a review that described the genre as cozy fantasy romance, like fantasy genre. And it's got romance in it. So like a cozy mystery, but this is a fantasy with some romance. And so I am getting that vibe. It's cute. So I'll let you guys know if I manage to finish it and what I think about it. But so far would recommend. So yeah, I'll catch you guys up later. Bye.